like a tide that can't be stopped.
Good morning. So today we're headed out to Natural Chimneys at Mount Solon. And I thought I'd tell you some of the history about Mount Solon, because it's a neat little town, village. So back in the 1740s is when the first European settlers got here. They were granted 2 400-acre lots. And then those lots were subdivided and more people moved in and the lots were further subdivided. Industry came in, and the first bit of the industry, of course, was milling and lumber. As time went on, more people moved into the town grew, eventually growing so large that they needed a post office, and then that required a name. So a man that lived here used to study the classics, Rome and Greece and everything, and he knew of Solon, the Greek statesman, and he named the town Mount Solon after the Greek statesman. Here's the mill pond. I don't think I'm supposed to be parked where I am, so it's going to be a really quick shot of this mill pond, what used to be the mill pond. So this is the former mill pond. They used to grow watercress out there, and they would sell the watercress. And then of course the mill pond fed the mill, which milled grain. By 1850, the town had grown so large that there were 3 churches in town. Scotch Irish started one, the Presbyterians started another, and the Brethren another. And there were rumors of a railroad coming. It's a great rock face concrete block house here. There was a fire right about the time of the war. That slowed the growth of the town down some. And then the war, of course, slowed down the growth even more. It's also delayed the coming of the railroad until about the turn of the century. About the same time, Stokesville was developed a little bit further south, and the railroad eventually, when it finally got here at the turn of the century, brought some prosperity to Mount Solon, and stores started popping up. It's the old bank, which was built about the turn of the century when the railroad came through. And it's the Mount Solon Grocery or Flippo store. One of the stores that were here. Still here. Take a little drive through town. I'll film a little bit. Show you one of the other stores. And there's all kinds of no trespassing signs up all over it, so I don't want to get too near it. It's this brick building here on the left. Nice running water. But it has all kinds of no trespassing signs up. I remember there was a geocache hidden here once, and people used to get a bunch of guff from whoever owned the property. And I believe as we pass this way through the crossroad towns to the crossroad town, we will see the other church, I believe. So, Mount Solon was rolling along pretty good until the train line used to run from Stokesville all the way to Harrisonburg, and Mount Solon was banking because the train line could bring people from Harrisonburg down to Mount Solon and back and forth. And then when Stokesville fell apart, the train line fell apart, and the trains no longer could take people from Mount Solon to Harrisonburg. And then cars came about, and cars also meant that you didn't have to stay in Mount Solon. Like, you could go out and people would drive to Harrisonburg from Mount Solon. There was no need for the train line anymore. So Mount Solon kind of stopped growing, and what's left of it is what's there today. And this is Natural Chimneys Park. It's been an attraction for a long time. There's been a lobbying effort to get it to be a state park, but it seems like that has kind of gone by the wayside. So back in the 70s and 80s, my grandfather would get a newspaper, Washington Post maybe, I don't know, whatever, and he would have an article about some place, and he would read about it, and then he'd go. Him and my grandmother would take road trips out to wherever these places were and go see them, and he would take pictures. So I've done this before, where I went to the Paw Paw Tunnel. And I had a few of his pictures of the Paw Paw Tunnel, and I showed the picture that he took. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to see if I can match up my grandfather's photos to the natural chimneys, the way they look today. We'll see if we can do it. I don't think so. He was here in March. It's February. It's definitely going to look a little bit different. Not too much. The leaves and stuff don't pop out in March here, I don't think. And there's a stage here now, but I'll get to that later. So first, I thought I'd show this. It's a great little walk, and then steps to a house that no longer exists. And there's the fireplace. Those great bricks, those yellow bricks, which are kind of weird. And then those great rocks there around the fireplace mantle. I really like those. I like the rock more than I do the brick. And here are the natural chimneys and the stage. Geologically, this was a great inland ocean, and these are limestone deposits, which lots and lots of tiny little critters with shells have died, and critters with bones have died, and over time the shells and the bones compacted to make limestone. And this was the end result. I think my grandfather took a picture from about right here. Come here, dog. I got the dog with me, so tried to wrestle her and film. Yeah, I think we're about where he took this photo. Like that. As you can see, there's a fence around the thing down, the towers now. And there's some bushes over there, where that power pole is now. This one looks like he just zoomed in on the towers. It's funny, because that tree, I think that's the same tree there. Yeah, zoomed in. I think that's about it. I think he probably took it from right where I'm standing now. So I think he also took a photo from right about where I am. I think. I think we can match it up just like that. Yesterday and today. Boom, just like that. I don't know how long the fence has been here. The fence. But here. Come here, baby. Come here. We used to be able to walk in there. And you could go climb around in there. And look there. There's snow in there. Look at that. That's leftover ice from the ice storm. Still has not melted. That's cool. But yeah, we used to walk in there. Used to walk up there and in there. I guess somebody, insurance or whatever, something has happened. They decided to put this fence up. And he keeps wrapping around my legs. Every time I fix her, she wraps back around. So sorry, it keeps dipping and doing weird things. Look at that, though. Millions of years of sea creatures just piling on top of each other. And then eroding away. Crazy. So cool. Here you can see all three of the chimneys. This one I can't quite figure out. It looks like he's closer when he took this photo. It almost seems like maybe he had a wide angle lens of some sort. I don't know. It's tough. It's hard to get that one. See, he's got all three, which would be this one, that one, and this third one in this photo, plus some of this stuff over here. And he looks like it's close, right? There's like a bench and a small tree. Well, there's a bench there. Maybe. If I put that there, zoom out, even zoomed out, it doesn't quite match up. I don't know where the heck he was standing. There's a bench there. Oh, your guess is as good as mine on this one. But it's something like that. So, I think he was about where I am now when he took this one. I think that's about it. Let's see if I can... Yep, I think that's about it right there. I think. Who knows? I think I'm close though. Check out this. You can see the hole clear through it. Tower, and then the tree, the dead tree that's on that. New tree that's been there at least since my grandfather took this photo in, I think, 1983. And more of that snow that just will not go away. The ice. So as I was saying, my grandfather lived in the valley. I lived in Richmond. About a 2.5 hour drive between my house and my grandfather's house. So we'd see each other on weekends, and of course on holidays. And I think I knew my grandfather, so most people know their grandfather, not very well. Where did my grandfather live? Grow up? What was his life like as a kid? What was he into? I don't know these things. Well, I kind of know these things, but I've discovered these things or learned these things from my mom and my uncle. And but what was he into? Did he like to hike? Did he like to go places? Obviously, he liked to go places. I think I've got some of that wanting to get out and move and go see things and read about things and then go see them. And I think I've definitely got that same need. Is it completely because of him? I don't think so, but whatever. Maybe it is some genetic. Dog is wrapping around me again. Stop wrapping around me. Ah! But you know, it's kind of cool to walk in his footsteps, see things that he saw. I like it. It's an interesting thing. Like I've always loved natural chimneys. I remember reading about them when I was little, and maybe I even read the same paper that he read. Who knows? Who knows what it was? But I've always wanted to come to natural chimneys, and it was one when I found out where it was, and when we moved to the valley, it was one of the first places we came. It was like I need to go see this, so we did, and I've been here maybe a dozen times since. It's and there's a way you can hike up to the top. And you can see them from a different angle. I don't think dog's gonna let me hike up there. And it sounds like it's starting to rain. I'll tell you this other little piece of history about this area, and then maybe we'll head back to the car and call it a day. Maybe. We'll see. Come on, dog. Let's go. Hey. Hey. Let's go. Whatever it is smells really, really good. She is stuck on it. Come on, baby. Hey. Hey, this morning I was I had a thought that she looks a lot like the dog from Weezer's album Ratatouille, and which funny is that dog's name is Sydney. This is Indy. Similar names, similar look. And he was a lab mix, apparently. I hope she's not a lab mix. But, right, so let's go talk about this little piece of history. So back in 1821, here in Mount Solon, there was a girl that could not decide which boy to marry. So her uncle suggested the two men have a joust. And whoever won would marry the girl. this began a tradition of jousting here in Mount Solon. Men would dress up in their medieval finery. They would dress their horses up in the medieval finery, and a joust would be had. They decided that they would not joust like, well, maybe they did back in 1821, who knows? But today they have a course set up, and the idea is to use your lance to collect 3 rings in under 8 seconds. And whoever has the fastest time wins the joust. And here at Mount Solon, or at Natural Chimneys, in August, they have a joust. And people get dressed up and come out here, and they do the thing with their horses and their lances. I got to spin around again because the dog is tying me up. So here's the course. It starts about here. And if the dog stops pulling me, this is about the start of it here. Come on, dog. And we walk down this way and see the course. And you see the wooden things above the course. This is where the rings are hung. The rings are hung. And this is where the knight rides and tries to lance the rings. That would be one. And the victorious knight gets the Queen of Love and Beauty's hand. I believe they sit there, or at one time they sat there. I don't know if they still do. And it's been happening here in Mount Solon since 1821, per the legend. And Dog loves this. Dog loves this. She is all about it. Yes, yes. Faster, faster. Like, oh, dog, slow down. That's very cool. Just on the other side of this road here, of course, there's picnic pavilions everywhere. And I don't know how they set it up for another event or any event, because I've never actually been to events here, despite wanting to for many years. There may be one this year that I go to. We'll talk about that in just a second. We're walking down this road here. If you can hear it, there's water because is it the north or the dry? I don't know. Anyway, there's a river here. And it is high. I don't know which river it is, but it is high. It is running high. And that's good. That's a good thing. I was here a bunch of years ago when there's hardly, well, there's water in it. But definitely not this much water. Ooh. Get down here a little bit closer. Look at that. Pretty cool. Right about mid-June, I think. That's when it happens. It's called the Red Wing Roots Music Festival. It happens right here in the shadows of the Natural Chimneys. And it's mostly roots music. This year, Squirrel Nut Zippers, Wood Brothers, Rubble Bucket, and who knows how many others are playing. They set up a bunch of different stages, 3 stages, 4 stages, something like that. Three, I believe. But anyway, 3 stages. Camp out here from one of the other locations nearby. Hey. And have yourself a good time. And I really want to go. I always wanted to see the Wood Brothers, not the NASCAR Wood Brothers. The band, the Wood Brothers. And Rubble Bucket. Rubble Bucket is fascinating and interesting and all the things. And of course, Squirrel Nut Zippers is amazing. But we'll see. It's been a long time since I've been to a multi-day festival. Oof. You know, it's been since 1999 that I went to a multi-day festival. But we'll see. We'll see. But it happens here. And you should come if you're into that sort of thing. Dog wanted to check out the stage, so here we go. What are you doing? Yeah. Them Wood Brothers are going to be up here. What do you think? What do you think? Yeah? Pretty cool. Good view. All right. And away we go. Where are we going? We used to have events out here for our Down syndrome group. It was really cool. I kind of wish we'd come back out here. It's a ways out here. The problem is cell service is kind of spotty. So if somebody gets lost, it's hard to get in contact with people. I mean, it was a lot of fun. We used to do it right there, that pavilion right there. It was fun. And there's trails, and you can, like I said, you can hike up to the top. You walk along this ridge line, and there's a big overlook up there. I don't know if Dog wants to do that. Dog, what are you doing? Gotta have my coffee. A little weak today. A little weak. I think this was taken right from where the stage is now. April 1982. I said March 83. So it's possible that, well, I don't know. This one you can see that the trees are still not blossomed out. Well, anyway. And so grass is probably greener. Definitely. Anyway, I love going places that other people have already been and taking photos and finding those photos and then trying to figure out from where they took those photos. It is hard and fascinating. He's probably, I don't know. Never talked to him about it. That's the other thing. I don't recall my grandfather ever talking about, oh, they chopped that humongous tree down. I don't ever remember hearing my grandfather talk about, oh yeah, we went here and we did this. And then a little sad. I'm a little sad. Hey, check out all this snow that's still lingering. This is all left over from that storm. All the ice still on the ground, brown and yucky. Ugh, just gross. But anyway, pretty cool though. So I said before that this place was at one time an great inland ocean, and I know it's hard to believe, but if you look out at how flat this is, I mean, just imagine the whole thing covered in water. You can kind of see it. That is beautiful. And then I also said that one of the first industries they had here in Mount Solon was milling. And here's 2 millstones. Again, these channels were to push the grain, the milled grain, off to the side. This is probably the top stone. That could be the bottom stone. And then as they spun around, the grain would be broken down and then funneled to the side where it would be collected. Fascinated by all the weird things. Going back to my grandfather, he never talked about like the places that they went. Like, I didn't even know they went anywhere. They just came to Richmond and then we went to see them. I didn't know they went anywhere. Or maybe they went to Ohio where our other family lived, or maybe New York where we had other family that lived. But going through this box of old photos, you see like they went to Florida. He went to Colorado at one point. I know he went somewhere in the desert in Arizona or New Mexico and bought some land out there. Had some ideas about moving out there, but that never happened. But he loved it out there. And I never knew he went anywhere. So it was fascinating to look through these photos and be like, oh, my grandfather, he did go places. Back in Mount Solon, in the village of Mount Solon. And another thing. So this is that store again. They used to show movies in the back of the store, if I understand correctly. This is this store. There was also an Oddfellows Hall and a Masonic Lodge, but most of that just seems gone. I love this little house right here. It looks empty. I swear it was not empty. we first came out here. A little house clinging to the hills. There's a fireplace there through the woods. I don't know if you can see that. But it is just, I love it out here. I love these little towns. I love the small towns. I love them, love them, love them. Check out this place on the right. This is an old service station, gas station kind of a thing. House with a canopy. Pretty cool. I've always wanted to stop there, but there's always like a car parked there. It makes it kind of hard to pull in. It's probably private property too, and it'll probably get yelled at. So, you know. There's this house is amazing too. This is 1800s easily. Like, move out of the way. Don't hill. Don't. Look at that place. Gorgeous, huh? German. Probably brethren of some sort that live there. I wish Dog could film, because then Dog could help me out and film some of these places. So that I wouldn't have to figure it out while I was driving. I know Virginia's a thing and you can't do a thing with a camera or with a phone in your hand and whatever else. But whatever. Circling back around to my grandfather. And some of the places he went to were fascinating, and some of the places are kind of head scratchers. We should go see this place. The Mossy Creek Presbyterian Church, founded in 1768. This place is gorgeous too. Holy moly. So we can get out here and take a look. There's a cat. Just gorgeous, right? Look at that steeple. There's a kitty. Can you see the kitty? Do you see the beast, Miss Moneypenny? She just ducked behind that tree. Look at that. Gorgeous. Founded in 1768, the Mossy Creek Presbyterian Church. Check that out. That is amazing. I'm sure it didn't look, maybe it didn't look like this in 1768. It's probably a newer building, but fascinating nonetheless. Let's go see this plaque. Scotch-Irish settlers in the region petitioned Hanover Presbytery for the organization of a congregation on Mossy Creek in 1768. The present Gothic brick structure was completed in 1882. Stonewall Jackson was a member. Oh no, Jedediah Hotchkiss was a member. A little map there. Location of the 5 church buildings. I bet that's neat. Of course, the cemetery here. Nice farm. So, I followed this person on Instagram called the Charleston Farm. And she films her dad, who's a farmer down in Alabama, I believe. Gallion, Alabama. And he talks about things that, you know, our older generations passed down to him. She films him talking about these things, and it hit me immediately. This is what we all need to be doing. Talking to our grandparents and our parents about the way things used to be done. And even the cliche things that they say and all that stuff, it all comes from somewhere, right? And she films her daddy talking about all this stuff, and it makes me so happy and sad at the same time, because I wish I had done this with my grandparents. I lost this grandfather in '89, and I lost my other grandfather in '93. I would have loved to have been able to talk to both of them about their lives. But in '89, I was too young to even have a care. And then in '93, I still think I wasn't completely there. Talk to them while they're here. Film them. Filming them is fantastic, because you will always have that record, at least as long as you download it onto a computer and remember where you keep it on your computer. And gosh, can you imagine, like, if our grandparents had video cameras and they could have filmed their grandparents or even their parents? Oh my gosh. So why not film something that harkens back to last week's video, talking turkey? Here we are, Rockingham County at the border, and what do you see? I told you last week that this was the capital, the turkey capital of the world. And there's a turkey house, chicken house. Maybe it's cows. It could be cows. It smells like cows. Maybe it's turkeys though. Who knows? Wagon Road. It's Route 11. Earliest immigrants: German, Swiss, Scotch, Irish, English. Coming down from Pennsylvania. Scotch Irish probably came across the mountains. Scotch Irish and the English. Pretty cool. I know this view is industry. This view gets better. Turn around and look at Augusta. It's behind us. The view is much better. Cars are really close. Gosh, it's beautiful. Love it. Am I ever going to be able to get back out? And feathers. Feathers, feathers, feathers. Turkeys and chickens. Turkeys and chickens. Turkeys and chickens and chickens and turkeys. And that's going to do it for today. Thanks for coming along. Really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that other stuff. We'll see you in the next one. One more thing. Talk to your people while you got them. Talk to them while you got them. It's, you'll regret it if you don't.